God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 26 of Your Journey is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey, and the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey and to Your Journey is Not Over. Neither are to be used, copied, nor edited in any way without my consent. Well, jumping back into my world of anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and PTSD. As I say now, it's the time in my journey where all of my past traumas finally caught up with me, in the worst way possible, too. And as I've also said, yes, I believe that's the devil playing tricks on our minds and using every trauma, every weakness, and every vulnerability that we have. Most we don't even realize that we have. And if you're anything like me and you grew up with total dysfunction and chaos, got conditioned at an early age to the traumas, the pain, the betrayals, the disloyalty from others, and the heartbreaks. People intentionally trying to hurt you for no other reason, then you're an easy target because you're one of the few in your family that actually has a heart and soul. You're the kind one. So again, an easy target. You know, people mistake kindness for weakness when actually, us kind ones that do have a heart and soul are the strongest ones of the family. We didn't turn out like the rest. It takes a lot of work to remain kind in such a horrible world. A lot of work not to succumb to the pain, the hurt, the dysfunction, and destruction, and become bitter, angry, resentful, envious even. Also, as I said in my last episode, the devil himself thought he and I were going to repeat this very same cycle again after my husband died. You know, get me locked down, lower my self-confidence, play on my traumas, and do everything in his power to isolate me and use my past traumas against me. And yes, he used whom I will always refer to as the devils in disguise. All these people lacked is the horns on their head. Such soulless creatures, too. Some of the most demonic people I've ever met in my life. One creature in particular even recruited others. God bless their heart, if they actually have one, that is. Well, first off, I don't repeat cycles. And I promised my late husband in the final weeks of his life, because me retreating back to that very existence was one of my late husband's biggest fears. In his final weeks, it was a daily discussion between he and I. He would say, "Promise me, Tanya, you won't lock down. You won't have me here to take care of you, and please don't let me be up in heaven worried about you with no way to help you." Of course, I promised every single time. Even the devil himself, in whatever form, couldn't, even after recruiting half of the community damn near. Couldn't get the job done alone. Not on me anyway. Another girl was not so lucky. I was heartbroken when I heard about her suicide, and God bless her soul. But the devil and his cockroaches couldn't get me to break a promise to my late husband. I'm a woman of my word, no matter the cost, the battle, nor the pain it costs me. And I will say this too on a spiritual level. When evil has to recruit so many people to go against just one person, me, well, God bless. Devil needs to find someone a lot stronger to go against me and force me into lockdown. Force me to break a promise to my late husband. Because who the devil chose are some weak individuals, some of the weakest I've ever met. Again, can't write checks, your ass can't cash. And yes, everything done in the dark always makes its way to the light. One thing my faith has taught me is to be patient. Give God time. Everything and everyone will be exposed in due time. And the sheep, as I call them, will regret the day they chose to follow the devil, based on projections, based on lies, and based on misconceptions, all the way to the slaughterhouse, too. Again, God bless. Life is about choices, and we all make them. And yes, lockdown is a form of anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and PTSD. Isolation, on the other hand, is God's way of separating us from demonic energies, protecting us, our energy, so that we can begin to reflect, to understand, to heal, and to release all our past traumas, our hurts, our pain, and get deeper in our faith and closer to God. Lockdown, fear of leaving our homes, that's the devil. Isolation is protection, and that's God. Also, I want to share this. Again, my own little way of seeing things. As I tell people, God knows us, every fiber of our beings. Of course, He does. He's our Father, our Creator. Well, the devil knows us too, some more than others, depending on your purpose by God. The devil studies us intently from birth. He knows our traumas, our pain, our weaknesses, our vulnerabilities all too well. And he will use whatever situation and whomever that chooses to do the devil's dirty work. Again, free will, we each have. So the devil can't use you unless you allow him to. Low vibrational people are easy to convince. That's the devil's gang, or his village is what I call those. Well, the devil tries to come at us when we are weak, in pain, have experienced trauma after trauma, or grieving a loss. At our weakest, most trusting, and then the attack begins. His whole plan is to get our souls, and he does that by breaking us down mentally and emotionally, robbing us of any self confidence, any independence, any joy, any laughter, any happiness, any peace. He will even try to rob us of our faith in God. The way that I see it, it doesn't matter how or who the devil uses. All that matters to the devil is that he collects our souls, our energy, and that's one less soul that God gets. The battle is truly and has always been between God and the devil. We are just pawns in the battle, and we get to choose which side, eternal peace or eternal punishment. And yes, I truly do believe that when we lock down, our minds are on overload. Well, the devil relishes in that. He loves that. Every second of our pain, our fear, our insecurities, our vulnerabilities. And he will play on our weaknesses to keep us in lockdown, away from the world. And yes, I do think that is why millions of people suffer and struggle every single day. The devil has studied us and then found a moment in our journeys where he could pounce like an animal in the wild and try and keep us stuck. I won't allow that. I will speak louder and travel far and wide and move mountains to pull as many people as I can away from the devil and closer to God by making people aware. As I say, awareness will bring changes. And as I've said many times in many different episodes, this game between myself and the devil has been going on since birth. The devil knew if I awakened spiritually, well, as my grandma always told me, one day, baby, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Of course, being completely mute as a child and being called weak and too soft my whole life, meaning I have a heart. I'm known as a sensitive. And as a sensitive, I feel everything. I still do, which allows empathy and compassion towards others. Well, I sure didn't know what she meant by going to be a force to be reckoned with. I do now. And if she's seen that for my future, even at such a young age, well, you already know, so did the devil. That's why my journey, like so many others, has been harder. More obstacles. People wanting me dead and trying to kill me, literally. God has always protected me because I have a purpose to serve. We all do. So, not knowing what my grandma meant all those years ago, again, I do now. And my awakening is something the devil has tried to stop, to block, to take me, my soul, before I awoke. Well, too late. I'm awakened now and busting those gates of hell wide open and want to save as many souls as I can. And as I tell the devil, don't take it personal. I don't, because it's my job. and I take it serious. It's what I was born for, what I was drugged through complete hell my entire life for. And that was, in fact, preparation for exactly this. It's my purpose, designated by God Himself. And my purpose is to stop the devil from collecting people's lives, people's souls. And as I have done everything in my life, I will serve my purpose to the absolute best of my ability and give it everything I got. Had someone explained this to me when I was in complete lockdown, I would have forced myself to overcome it sooner and defeat the devil and beat the devil at his own game, like I have my whole life. I don't want anyone stuck. I want everyone to survive, overcome, and live to share and tell about it. Help the ones that are where we once were. Now that's what God calls divine. As they say, to err is human, to help others is divine. Yes, I got off track today. My pen just flows. And as always, I pray what I relay is exactly what needs to be heard. I do not own the rights to the things I chose to share today. Just a reminder, keep moving forward and never lose your spirit, because life will always continue to change, like a turning wheel. Be thankful for everything that has happened. Keep fighting through every challenge and never give up, no matter how difficult the journey becomes. There is no such thing as a perfect life. Happiness and sadness will always come and go together. That is why patience and gratitude are the two things that make every emotion in life feel more meaningful and complete on your journey. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. The Lord looks at the heart. That's 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. God, thank you. I want to take the time not to ask for anything, but be grateful for everything, big or small, and for those that you have brought in my life along my journey. Please remember your happy place isn't always somewhere you go. Sometimes it's a feeling you create when you slow down, breathe, and let yourself be at peace right where you are. We don't experience the same rain. Some have umbrellas, some have roofs, and some only have themselves. That's why we should be kinder, slower to judge, and quicker to understand. You will never know how heavy someone's rain is until you've stood where they are. There's a life-changing shift that happens when you realize that no matter what you've been through, your journey can be a source of strength for you and others. My final thoughts for today, as I reflect back on my journey and some of the hardest parts of my journey, I realized nothing was wasted. All that I experienced and endured, starting with my very own demonic mother, was all preparation for all the demons and cockroaches I would encounter throughout my journey. All that was intended by the devil and his cockroaches to take me out, whether it be by poisoning me, choking me in my sleep even. And when the cockroaches couldn't finish the job, well, the devil thought by playing that horrible movie, April 6, 2024, I would take myself out. As God said, think again. Nothing was done to me. It was all done for me in preparation to becoming the woman, the warrior I am today. Instead of being angry, bitter, resentful, I am in fact grateful. Grateful God gave me the resilience to overcome, to survive, to live to tell about it. Hey, that resilience built the strength I needed to face evil and fulfill my journey that God trusted me enough to send me on. So please be grateful. You're still here. You're still standing. You're still surviving. Now that's God. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me next Tuesday. Listen in, and always remember, your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been